Welcome to my pick six for 2026 video. Last year I picked six stocks: Robinhood, Hims and Hers, DoorDash, Dutch Bros, Rubrik, and TG Therapeutics, and there was about a 50 to 51% cumulative gain for those six names. I would be fortunate to have another 50% year, but here goes nothing. I'm going to pick six names that I like in sections that I think should do pretty well in 2026. One is the anything that flies, the space race. And here, my first selection here is Planet Labs. You can see this one has had a big year last year, so I'm counting on my momentum to carry through. Normally, when you have a big year, you don't expect this consecutive big year, but here I'm going to go with it. They've had a raised guidance here and nice sales and earnings growth, and I think it continues. So that is my first selection. There's plenty I know I could have selected from in this group, including ASTS and Rocket Lab. There's another one that I like, and these all are quality names here. ONDS, Ondas Holdings, but these ones have been up a lot too, right? That one's up nearly 300%. ASTS, yeah, I mean, so I'm going with Planet Labs. These have been strong. I think the momentum will continue. But anyway, Planet Labs is my first selection for 2026. I have to have an energy name, and I'm going with solar energy. Believe it or not, solar has not done all that great recently. First Solar was up 47% last year. I could have gone with the conventional, the fuel cell names like a Bloom Energy. I could have gone with the GEV or the, nuclear names, Oklo, Constellation, LEU. But there's a lot of them to choose from here in the energy as we, see this data center build out. I didn't pick any, data center or any of the construction plays, but I'm going to go with First Solar as my energy play. Thank you very much. Let's look at the weekly here. I said it was up 47% last year. This has got this nice big base here. Yeah, 306, it gets rolling, right? So right now, to me, this is just forming this big, cup with handle pattern. I had it on the ready list recently. I'm going to leave it on there for us. I think it could have a current, first quarter, advance stage, and then maybe later on in the year and give us some alpha. Anyway, I'm picking First Solar. It's 12% of 10 if you follow the exchange traded fund, which looks kind of nice here in this base. So anyway, Planet Labs, First Solar. I've got to have a retail name. My two favorite spaces are retail and biotech and drugs, and I've got to go with Sydney Sweeney here. She's got momentum. You could see, back in the day, this was a March 2024, almost 2 years ago, 2644. So it's been basing for 2 years. Obviously has momentum now as it came off the lows here, rallied to this, high tight flag type of pattern and then ripped up. And now we've got another high tight flag pattern. And I think it's going to do it again. Is it going to go up, to 100 and be a, three bagger, four bagger? Probably not. But hey, if it goes up to $40 this year, and it gives us, I don't know, let's say $50 and it's a two bagger, I think we'll all take that. Anyway, American Eagle, I could have gone with Abercrombie and Fitch. Once again, in this group, Abercrombie and Fitch, or I think the safer name is Nike. There's no such thing as safe in the stock market. Your dollar's never safe, but this is less risk, I believe, probably less reward too. But it made that bottom there, and yeah, Nike's had some insider selling and insider buying, and Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, was buying, but they've been relying on their Jordan brand for a long time. And I wanted to go with Sydney Sweeney here. I could have gone with Lulu, which is once again probably hit a bottom, probably a little safer pick. But I just went with Sydney Sweeney. I don't know. And I mentioned last year I went with Dutch Bros. I think this is going to have a good year. Last year it was only up, yeah, minimal. What? Yeah, I think it'll do better this year. So anyway, yeah, Dutch Bros is giving you, 25% Sales growth, the stock is only up 10%. That, I think it'll play catch up this year. Yeah, this is consistently giving you 20% growth. Anyway, I'm going to move on because I mentioned biotech. Yeah, a lot of them that I could have selected from. I went with IMNM, Immunome, the Clay Siegel, the CEO. He's just going to create a big pipeline and make it super attractive for one of these big sharks to buy him out. I don't know if it'll be this year, but if they continue to get positive phase three trials and keep stacking that pipeline, the stock is going to go higher. Of course, if they have a failed trial or a negative result, this thing's going to get cut in half. That's the risk. I could have gone the conservative route with, Eli Lilly, which I think will be fine this year, or Novo, which I think is bottomed. But I don't know. I just went with a more risky play. I think, in this space, you take the risk, and if you get hammered, oh well. If you get the reward, then it's pretty darn nice. There's some other ones, like United Healthcare in the healthcare group. I think this one's going to have a good year. I'm not going to say, no risk, but, lower risk, and, the risk reward is pretty good here. I think this is a stage one base here for United Health, but I don't know. I'm going with the more speculative biotech name. TMDX is another one that I like in this medical product drug group. And you can see this one's been consolidating for a long time, but yeah, I like this one as well. But I'm going with IMNM. So I have Planet Lab, First Solar, American Eagle, IMNM. I need a AI stock. This is the one. This is ALAB, which, just broke above this downtrend line, flattening out, now popped on Friday. But I think if you look at the longer term, and we have to think about the whole year now, because if these things die, they die fast, as you can see here and here. And so, yeah, it rallies and advances sharply, but it also sells off sharply. So I'm picking ALAB. I mean, it's been giving you triple digit sales and earnings growth, was only up 27% last year. Of course, I like Micron. I think Micron's going to have a hell of a first half of 2026, but when that cycle ends, and I think this cycle is going to last a lot longer than people think, and I think Micron's going a lot higher than people think, but when it ends, they can die fast. And SanDisk was up a lot. I like that one as well. 660%. I know I like Credo. But I went with ALAB. I mean, yeah, you can't kiss all the babies, as they say, but I'm just going with ALAB for this year, and we'll see how it works out. So you got Planet Lab, First Solar, American Eagle, you got the drug, Immunome, you got the AI. Oh, now the last one, I could have picked a financial name. I think financials would do well. SoFi. I think would be a good pick. There's a lot of different areas that I could have gone, including the miners. I like Ivanhoe. I think the copper is going to do well this year. And we know how these things have played out. The gold and the silver. Anglo gold up 260% in the last year. SSRM. These things have all been up a lot. Silver play, Pan American up 144%. I went with a copper play, the Ivanhoe, if I was going with the miner. But I think the miners are I think they're gonna melt up and then melt down. How about that? And I'm looking at the back half of 2026, and I'm thinking that maybe the housing market is going. I mean, how long can the housing market be down? I mean, it's been down a long time. I know it could go down 4 or 5 more years, but this has been a while now here with these Lennar and DR Horton. They've been a mess. But my sixth selection is Open Door, highly risky. You can see this, high tight flag type of pattern here off the lows, 50 cents to what, $10. So you had a 20 bagger, and yeah, now it pulls back and forms this flag. This is highly speculative. I like the management team. This is a disruptive company. It could be, I think it could be a two bagger, a three bagger, even a four bagger, a five bagger here in 2026. I don't know if it will be. It could also go to zero, right? But that's my sixth pick. So that's it. Planet Lab, First Solar, American Eagle, Immunome, ALAB, and Open Door. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.